What's up, guys? Back with another video. I'm super excited for this one. Today, I'm going to be counting down my own personal top 10 films of all time. Warning before we get into this, if you don't like Christopher Nolan, you're probably not going to like my top 10 because he takes up a lot of that. But I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. At number 10, we have Fight Club. I'm a huge Brad Pitt fan. I really love David Fincher. I would actually put 7 right below Fight Club, in my own opinion. So Fight Club's at 10. Really love this film. This is one of the movies that kind of like actually started helping me get into films and stuff like that. So I really appreciate this movie. I love Brad Pitt. I think he's one of the coolest dudes on the planet. I love everything that he does. So yeah, at number 10, I'm gonna go with Fight Club. At number 9, some people might not like this one, but I'm gonna have to put The Dark Knight here. Great movie, love it. Love Heath Ledger as the Joker. Christian Bale, obviously, iconic Batman. I love this movie, always have loved this movie, even as a kid before I was actually into film and things like that. Some people might not agree that it's so low, because I know a lot of people put The Dark Knight like in their top 5 and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I love it. It's just I love all these movies just a little bit more. So, yeah. Number 8. This one's going to get some people mad. I got to go with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know what to tell you. A lot of people say this is Tarantino's worst movie. I totally disagree. I think it's his best, honestly. Even if it's not his best, it's still the one I enjoy the most and I love to watch. Like I just said, I love Brad Pitt. Who doesn't like Leonardo DiCaprio? And Margot Robbie. I know Margot didn't really have a huge role, but man, it's just, I loved it all. I loved it all the way up until the end, and then the end was just like icing on the cake at that point. Incredible. I loved it. The movie theater I was in the first time I watched it, and the second time, really enjoyed it. Everybody was having a good time. I left the theater in just such a good mood. It was incredible. One of my favorite theatrical experiences, but yeah, I'm gonna put Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at number 8 on this list. Number 7, another one people might not like too much, is Joker. I was just completely in awe with Joker when I first saw it. I was not expecting to be that blown away by it. And really, I didn't feel like it was the movie itself. I really just feel like Joaquin took it to a whole nother level. I really enjoyed his performance. And this also is kind of a hot take. I enjoyed Joaquin Phoenix's performance more than Heath in The Dark Knight. I don't even really like to compare them. They're two totally separate characters. He had his own movie. Heath didn't. He was just a supporting role. But I'd say Heath's is more iconic, and Joaquin was a slightly better performance. I don't even really like to say that. I don't know. I just really enjoyed the movie in itself. I think I saw it like 6 times in theaters alone. So yeah, I started a film collection. That was one of the first films I got. Yeah, I just really loved the movie. It was incredible. One of my favorites. Before we go any further, this video is sponsored by... No, I'm just playing. Number 6. Number 6 is a tough one. I feel like number 5 and number 6 are kind of interchangeable. It's hard to tell, and I'll get into that right now. I'm going to kind of put 5 and 6 together right here because I kind of feel like they're interchangeable for me. At number 6, I'm going to say Tenet. And at number 5, I'm going to put The Prestige. And I'm going to kind of elaborate why I think they're switchable right there. It's because Tenet was just like the most ambitious film ever made. I think it was probably the toughest film to ever be made. I've seen it 3 times in theaters. I've liked it more every time I've watched it. So it's growing on me more. I think it's a fantastic film. The thing is I like the story better in The Prestige. Although The Prestige is written very well, very crafty, I've loved it from the very first time I've ever seen it. I don't know, it's something about these movies. I didn't really like the story as much in Tenet. It wasn't like the story was bad, it just like the characters were kind of cold to me. And I know it was kind of supposed to be like that. There just wasn't much character development and dialogue and stuff like that. And the characters didn't have enough to like grow on me, so I guess I didn't feel as connected to the movie. The whole film in general is very tough for Tenet, so I applaud Christopher Nolan for doing that. Probably the toughest film ever made, and that alone really gets it up there in my list. The Prestige has just always been a classic for me. The ending gets me every time. Even when I know the twists are coming, it still hits me. I really love that movie. That was also one of the ones that first got me into watching films and stuff like that. So I've always appreciated Nolan for The Prestige and stuff like that. So yeah. At number 4, I'm gonna have to go with Inception. Oddly enough, until like several months ago, Inception was not that high on my list. I think it might have been 9 or like 11, something like that. And I rewatched it in here in the theater with some friends, and it was an incredible experience. I'm not sure what it was, but it's just like, I understood the movie before, but it was like this time it just actually like all really clicked for me. The whole thing about Cobb trying to get to his kids, and he finally does, and it's this whole thing. It's like this whole movie is leading up to this, and it's just all about getting back to his kids. And he finally does, and it's like they're going through all these things, these different dream layers, and it's going deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's like it all just comes full circle all at once, and it was incredible. It's really hard to rank Christopher Nolan movies because they all have different things that are great about them, but I have to go with Inception at number 4, and I think I'll be sticking to that one. At number 3, gotta go with Prisoners. Prisoners is just a jaw-dropping film. I'm in love with it. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I love everything Jake Gyllenhaal does, but he was absolutely incredible in this film. And it wasn't even as much Jake and Hugh and like the great cast. It was just the story. I mean, you could have put almost any actors in it as long as they did like a decent job and like got the point across. The story in and of itself and the way that ended was just incredible, man. I don't know what to tell you. It blew me away. It's something I can watch over and over and over again, and it gives me the same feeling every single time. The ending always gets me. It's just, man, I love that film. It's so dark. Denis does a really good job directing that, and that's a masterpiece in my opinion. I don't know if a crime film will ever be able to top that movie, in my opinion. The funny thing is, for me, is I've never heard anybody talk about that before, like, actually getting into film. Usually when, like, you hear about the best films in a genre or just, like, the best films of all time, you've usually heard of them before. I had never heard of Prisoners. One of my friends, like, told me to watch it just because he had seen it, like, a couple years ago, and he remembered it was good, so I was like, okay, I'll watch it. I didn't even get to it immediately. I just got to it eventually, and I was just completely blown away. I didn't expect it to be that good. I just thought it was going to be another good crime movie, but it turned out to be one of my favorite films of all time. It used to be number 2 on my list, and it got bumped down to number 3, and I guess we'll get to that right now. Number 2 on my list, gotta go with Interstellar. Christopher Nolan. Man, this film just does things to me. I don't know what it is. This also used to be my number 1 film of all time. I think I've seen it 9, 10 times. It hits me the same way every single time. I love the story. I love the concept. I love the twist. I love the music. I love Matthew McConaughey. I love everybody in the cast, but I love the cinematography. I love everything that Nolan did to make this movie what it was. It's an interesting concept because when like you really get invested into a story and it's super emotional and it makes you cry several times throughout the film, it's usually like a romance movie or something that has to do with like a love between partners or something. This did have to do with love, but it was a love between father and daughter, and it was completely different, like father and his family. And it's just a totally different spin and a different perspective on love in and of itself. And the limits that a father is willing to go to save his family and get back to his family and things like this. And it's just an insane movie, like everything. It's probably, in my opinion, the best score ever made. Hans Zimmer was just incredible, made an incredible piece of music. It really like changed the game entirely. Love Matthew McConaughey. I never would have pictured him being in that role, but I'm so happy he took that role. Could not be more happy he was in that. Jessica Chastain, what's his name? Casey Affleck, his name slipped my mind. Young Timothy Chalamet in there. There's just a ton of great actors. Michael Caine, of course, Anne Hathaway. There's just a lot of people in there that were great. And then, of course, you have Matt Damon come in and stuff like that. Just an incredible body of work. Everything that went into that was just amazing. I consider it a perfect movie. And it was #1 on my list for a really, really, really long time. I just think this next film narrowly edges it out. It's by a millimeter. It's like almost minuscule how much difference there is. But my #1 all-time favorite movie is none other than La La Land. La La Land. La La Land. I'm so incredibly in love with La La Land. I just think it's the best body of work to ever be created. And I applaud Damien Chazelle for making that so early in his career. His second major film ever made, that's just insane. And like, I can't think of another director that would have even had a chance to make a movie that good. Like, everything was just perfect about it, from like the music to the story and the cinematography, and everything just came full circle. It all made sense. It all connected in some way, and the story was just so beautiful. I loved Ryan Gosling. I loved Emma Stone. Emma Stone definitely deserved Best Actress. I don't think Ryan deserved to win Best Actor, but the nomination was definitely there for him. I'm just so incredibly in love with this film. Everything about it is just so beautiful. I just love the storytelling. I love the music. I know I said Interstellar is like the best soundtrack ever made, and La La Land is like right behind it in my opinion. It's hard to say because Interstellar was just like music, like sounds, and La La Land had lyrics and singing, of course, and stuff like that. I just absolutely love it. Every sequence is so perfect to me, and to me, it's the most beautiful story ever told. I love that it's not a cliche ending. I just adore the ending and how it all came together, and I admire Damien Chazelle for the way he wrote that and put that together. And the whole last epilogue scene was just something different. It gets me every single time. I've seen that movie 14 times. 14 times. That's a lot. And not a single one of them disappointed me. It was always there. I always enjoyed it. It always brings back those same feelings. So for me, I have to go with La La Land for my #1 movie of all time. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment, whatever you want to say. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.